There you
There
go.
you go. All right, so that would mean that we were going to turn things over to Doug.
Can you guys hear me?
Good. We can.
Perfect. Alabama,
Seth Maddox.
Arkansas,
Brett Leach.
Illinois, Doug McLean, Indiana, Adam Phelps, Iowa, Kentucky,
John Brunges,
Louisiana, Manitoba,
Jillian St. George,
Michigan,
Callie Rush,
Minnesota,
Nadok.
Mississippi,
Houston Havens,
Missouri,
Reed Vigut,
Ohio, Ontario,
Rod Brook.
Saskatchewan, Tennessee,
Jamie Fedderson.
Wisconsin,
Taylor Finger,
Canadian Wildlife Service,
Frank Baldwin,
U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Bird Banding Lab, USDA APHIS Wildlife Services,
Lee Humber.
USGS. All set, JB.
Doug,
Back
did you
on
get
mute.
me?
Back
I was
on
on
mute.
mute.
Yeah,
Nope, I
sorry
did not
about
get
that.
you, Mike.
Sorry.
Uh,
I said my name to myself.
So agenda is not too bad this time. We got a few things. Again, we generally start with federal updates, and since I see Frank over there looking serious, I'll start with him, see if he's got any news from north of the border he wants to share.
I was looking serious, updating my notes, so I'll just take a couple minutes here, John. Thanks. I missed the last meeting in October, so apologies for that. But so just a couple personnel changes. Jim Leifler, he's officially retired, left mid-October. Pauline Bloom is acting head of our unit, and she will be so until at least March or end of March 2026. So hopefully there'll be something permanent to follow, but we did get our federal budget released in the last couple of weeks, and there are some pretty drastic changes coming to the federal public service over the next 5 years. So looking at, they want to decrease federal public service by about 40,000 people over the next 5 years, get it back to pre-COVID levels. So that's going to have implications for CWS and possibly for the unit that I work in, which includes a couple term staff, and as well as some recent retirements. So a lot of uncertainty about whether those positions are going to be filled or what the hierarchy of positions that will be filled will look like. So we knew that was coming. I think I spoke about that at the last following meeting, but that's been confirmed by the budget now. It hasn't trickled down to see what our branch-wide or program level budget will be, but that's something I can speak about at the winter flyway meeting. We're in a status report and reg proposal year this year, so we'll have both the population status report, Canadian one, coming out in probably December, and then the proposals report will be coming out in January. So the public comment period will be before the winter flyway meeting, so I will be sending out links to both those reports as soon as they go public, but the consultation and public comment period will be January 15th to February 14th. Most of the items in that report you'll have already heard about. So there's a proposal for the Eastern Population Sandhill season in Ontario, and then there's a variety of date changes in Manitoba and, well, mostly in Manitoba, really just to clean up our table. And then there's 2 notices of consideration for Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, for tundra swans and mourning doves. So those are not full-blown proposals yet. They're basically a process to understand the public sentiments behind the potential for having hunting seasons for those species in Prairie Canada. There is a biological assessment that sort of an abstract of which is going to be posted in the report, and I'll be including that in my presentation to the flyway at our winter meeting, but given that consultation period is early, I can send out those pieces as soon as they become public. So those are the two that the Tundra Swan one, we didn't know whether it was going to go forward or not, but it'll be published in this report. So the earliest implementation for a hunting season would be not until 2028. So this is just sort of a pre-consultation process. And yeah, kind of an interesting fall, really warm. A lot of birds still around, a lot of open water. We've had quite a few cases of high path mortality, at least in Manitoba this year. A bunch of premises that are infected right now, and then quite a variety of birds that have been impacted, and also a lot of mammals being picked up. So it seems like a bit of a spike, maybe a bit earlier than we've seen in other years. And yeah, we're just waiting to lose all the birds to get that cleaned up, I suppose. But warm temperatures forecast for the next week, so sort of another warm, long fall for us. So yeah, happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Frank, I'll ask a question I'm sorry, I was taking notes and kind of missed some of what you said there. So you said doves, you're doing your Prairie Canada is considering dove seasons. Is that correct? Right now,
Yeah.
Ontario has a dove season. Does Quebec, or is it Ontario the only province with dove season?
Ontario, Quebec, and BC. So BC's
Okay.
had one since about 1960. Ontario,
Okay.
Quebec's like 2013, 2015, I think. So they've had them for a while, but this proposal is to establish one in Prairie Canada.
Okay. Did Quebec did theirs coincide with Ontario? I helped, I guess, kind of get them some of the stuff to get Ontario going, but I guess I never paid attention. Quebec was about the same time.
I think Ontario was first and then Quebec. And Quebec is a really small part of Quebec, though. It's really one kind of portion of southern Quebec. It's quite a small zone. So total harvest, I think, is only a few thousand birds there, and Ontario's the bigger harvest, but even that's only about 15,000 birds a year.
And again, just remember so next fall is the first crane hunts in Ontario and Quebec.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Assuming this goes, passes into law. So these the date changes that I spoke about, which are really like minor changes. They're really just cleaning up the table in Manitoba. They don't really have, much for implications for extra harvest or anything. Those and the season proposal. So for, there's probably some others in Eastern Canada for ducks, but the crane proposal specifically for Ontario, those will go into law in July 2026, so in time for the fall seasons. And then the dove and tundra swan notice of consideration, those are not proposals, they're not regulatory proposals, so they're really public comment processes. If they go forward and there's a desire for hunting seasons, then they would be published in our proposal report in 2027. And then they would be same thing the following July, they would become law if they move ahead. So it's a long for new seasons for species and jurisdictions which have never had them. It's a long process in Canada.
Thank you, Frank.
Welcome.
Other questions? All right. I guess hearing none, I will give, funny enough, I will give the update for Dave Scott. Dave had eye surgery today. I just talked to him a few minutes ago. It didn't sound like they were very happy with how it went. He's got to get more details tomorrow, but he is out today. So just give you a little bit. He gave me a few notes of things to comment on, and we'll cover some more of it later in some of the details. Of course, the good news is that they are back at work. The shutdown ended late last week. By Friday, I guess those of us on the Harvest Management Working Group, me and Adam had heard from Scott Boomer, and we're having meetings with them. So they are all back at it, and everything seems to be going as fast as they can. Particularly of interest to this flyway, Dave told me that he had spoken with Tom Cooper and that they are frantically trying to get wings envelopes out to the Mississippi Flyway this week. So even with the shutdown, I guess a lot of us are kind of concerned how it impacts harvest surveys. They are reeling and trying to scramble. You know that they were late on getting a bunch of their envelopes for this year, and so this week their main priority has been to get those envelopes out, wing envelopes out to the Mississippi Flyway. So bad news and things during the shutdown. The SRC meeting, which was going to be in person for the first time since COVID, was canceled. The task force meeting, that was the Adaptive Harvest Management Task Force meeting, which was scheduled for basically the next day, was also canceled. There was a Louisiana black-bellied whistling duck meeting, which was canceled, and a black duck joint venture meeting that were canceled, all due to the shutdowns. So let's go with the SRC meeting. Early this week, they sent a doodle poll out to all the SRC members, and the SRC now is set for a virtual meeting on December 16th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So the December 16th is now the date for the SRC meeting, and it will be a virtual meeting. The task force meeting was canceled. Its next scheduled meeting was December, I want to say 10th. It coincided with the Harvest Management Working Group meeting. That has also been canceled, and now there's a poll trying to figure out if they can do an in-person meeting in January at a location to be determined. Let's see. Black Duck Joint Venture doesn't exactly have plans yet. They're scrambling, but they think that they will meet virtually in January. Let's see, whatever else. Now, I don't know didn't exactly have a plan yet for the rescheduling the black-bellied whistling duck meeting. So I think that covers most of what I had from Dave. Anybody think of anything that I left out until we get to Harvest Management Working Group? Is there anything else that I'm leaving out? All right. Sorry.
Hey, John.
Go ahead.
John, I was just curious. Did Dave say anything about how the banning lab had been functioning during the shutdown?
I asked about it, and that is outside
Pam.
of his knowledge. I see Pam hiding back there somewhere.
Uh,
Pam, you got any better information on that?
I do have a little bit of information. Good to see you all. Yeah, so apparently the banding site was down for a total of 3 days, but it was operational all the rest of the time during the shutdown. And my guess is that they are just wending their way through, because they couldn't issue certificates or anything. I noticed we have reports from all throughout the shutdown period coming in, like reward banding stuff coming in. So I guess they're just working through their way through things as they get them, or maybe in the order that they came in. I'm not sure. I do know. I guess a lot of you probably got the email from Tony. If there's something that's a priority that in terms of them catching up with, I think that you could reach out to Tony or Lauren about that. That's really about what I know at this point. But yeah.
Pam, anything else bads related that I didn't mention and covered for Dave?
No, not that I know of. I do know they're working really hard in terms of getting those mailings out. I'm recovering from some surgery in my foot, but I'm going to go in and probably try to go in tomorrow for a little while and help them out. But I know as you said, they were already behind in terms of getting those envelopes out through no fault of their own, and yeah, so we're doing the best we can, I think, all of us. So yeah, I'll pitch in to help those guys, and I had to push some stuff back with the revised banding goals. I'll probably be prepared to give you guys an update on those in your December meeting. And I don't know the status of really anything else. I think people are still just trying to figure stuff out.
All right, that sounds great, Pam.
If there's anything I
So
can do
that-
to assist, just let me know. If you guys feel free to reach out to me, and I'll try to, help put you in touch with the right person if there's something like that. But you guys know who to reach out to anyway. Yeah.
Thank you, Pam. You're the best.
Mm-hmm. You guys are the best.
I think Dave is planning on trying to be back fairly quickly. Anyway, I guess we'll hear more in the coming couple days. All right, so unless any other questions on that, again, the next item again we had on the agenda was the status of the SRC meeting, and that I kind of think I covered. It has been canceled. The in-person was canceled, and the replacement will be December 16th. There are a number of folks that are pretty unhappy with that late date. I know Texas really has a problem with their regulation setting process because of that. I guess it's just one of the consequences of having having government shutdown. I think they tried pretty hard to have it happen the first week of December, immediately after Thanksgiving, and it just they couldn't get enough SRC members there. So it will be in that December 16th date. Next thing, the HM task force letter. Again, those of y'all that didn't hear earlier, Adam is recovering from being pretty sick. His voice is not great. So y'all check the chat over there. He's pretty regularly jumping in on the chat and is keeping us updated on things on the chat. But so I'll kind of cover, unfortunately, you have to hear more of me than you should. But the task force, the technical section, the tech reps approved a letter to to go to the director of the Fish and Wildlife Service and ask, basically, well, let's see. Okay, sorry, this is a second. Again, through tech reps, we have had H. Flyway was asked to give 2 members to the task force. One was a wildlife director or wildlife chief, and one was an agency head or agency director. And so for us, the original assignment for that was Luke Naylor as the wildlife chief in Arkansas, and was Jason Maxedon as the director of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Jason has been basically unable to participate in meetings. And so he sent Jamie and he sent Joe as his kind of surrogate, but the tech section felt like it was important to have that director level. Adam used the word, I can't come up with a better one, the gravitas of having an agency head as part of the task force. And so many of you will see the letter will go from Todd Bishop today to all the members of the council, asking them to approve changing basically from Jason Maxedon to a new director from Michigan, and all of a sudden can't see her name, but is anyway. So there will have a new person that we're going to ask to be on the task force, and so that's in council's hands right now. And I think we all think it's pretty important to have that director level involvement in the task force. The task force also met last week on Thursday without our federal partners. and it was an interesting meeting. There was a lot of discontent among the task force about how things were going. There's been a lot of effort at terms of reference and just not really making progress, but just kind of planning how we're going to get started. And so the state, I think the state folks all had a good meeting with the Harvest Management Working Group, people actively involved in the meeting. And it sounds like the state folks are going to step up a little bit and start requesting more information from the service and more involvement. And to that end, the upcoming Harvest Management Working Group is going to meet in person. The travel for that has been approved for our federal partners, so they're working on going right now. And that meeting will largely be focused on getting information to the task force and making the task force getting the information they need to start working towards getting something done. And I guess Jerome Ford told everybody the last meeting of the task force that his bosses expected something out of the task force in the next 6 to 8 months. That is pretty far-fetched, but we're everybody's going to try to work and try to make things move along on a better basis. I see things jumping over here. Shannon Lott is correct. Yes. Thank you, Adam, from Michigan. And she serves in AFWA, and she is, I want to say, is the AFWA president. So I think it would be a very good person to fill this role. And I know, is aware of some of the problems that we faced with getting regs out so late. And so I think that, that'll be a great fit. So I've talked a while. Stop and see if there are any questions about that we've basically had 2 letters that the tech reps have approved in the last month. The first one was the letter to Director of Fish and Wildlife Service asking them to hold off on the 3-year plan, and then the second one was a recommendation to council that we reappoint a new director to the task force. I'm seeing if Adam's over there pointing out something that I've skipped over. The Harvest Management Working Group this week is working to develop an agenda. The Scott Boomer sent everybody a request for information. Adam responded to him today. I have not had a chance yet. We're going to try to have another meeting, I believe, tomorrow of the Harvest Management Working Group to kind of plan for the upcoming meeting. Crickets. Okay. So the next item, we may come back to some of that, but now would just be, I guess Todd Bishop asked, again, as chair of council a while ago, asked us to pay attention to, I guess, some upcoming requests from the Fish and Wildlife Service, some evaluation of new hunting opportunities on refuges. And it seems to me, I haven't heard it from many Southern folks. It seems to be a Midwest thing. I know that Nate and Taylor have sent stuff, and maybe I saw some stuff from Michigan. That anyway, some of the Midwest folks. So I'll turn it over to Taylor and Nate and see if you guys want to make any comments.
Yeah, I can comment from Wisconsin's perspective. I know I sent out a message to some of the other Great Lakes and Midwest states that we had. It was for Wisconsin, all to do about nothing in all reality. Like, I think in terms of our migratory birds, we opened up, I think, like 800 total more acres to migratory bird, to waterfowl hunting and coot and gallinule. That was realistically of the thousands of acres of refuges that we have, I think it was 800, and we were comfortable with that. The vast majority of it was actually geared towards deer hunting and small game hunting and things like that on our end. So from a flyaway perspective, we had very little concern about the requests being made. The ones that we were concerned about were potentially like Horicon or the Mississippi River. But because those already do allow hunting on it, there was no suggested change for those. So yeah, again, from Wisconsin's perspective, we provided comments that was generally in support of things that were proposed. Nate?
Yeah, a little bit different from a Minnesota perspective. There's maybe roughly 10,000 acres, maybe a little more than that, that's actually being open to migratory bird hunting. One refuge, Rice Lake National Wildlife Refuge, which some of you may be familiar with, can in some years hold up to 1 million ringnecks. We came out as opposed to that. I expect the tribe in that area to also come out as opposed to the opening of that refuge as well. But similar to Taylor, a lot of fixation on opening of bear hunting on refuges, which is interesting, and then a lot of fur bearer stuff, which was very confusing and obvious on how hastily this was all written, because for each refuge there was a different list of fur bearers that was being opened, and in some cases they mentioned things like gophers, or in another refuge they were going to open bobwhite quail, which we don't have any hunting season for quail in Minnesota, and definitely do not have any quail north of the Twin Cities where this refuge is. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we got quail and as well, and there's no quail in Horicon Marsh. Callie, I see your hands up.
Yeah, we had some Michigan proposed changes as well. Most of them we were fine with, some weird fixations as well that we noticed, like grouse and quail, a lot of focus on opening upland habitat for that, some turkey. None of that we really had issues with. The two big waterfall spots were Shiawassee and Lake Erie. Shiawassee stuff essentially represented no change. It was just going to be open for early teal and early goose, but the same areas that are already open during the regular season. Lake Erie, it is kind of some of the only refuge area there, so we have some issues there, but sounds like we're kind of in the middle of you guys in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah, so I think JB, unless other folks from the Midwest have other thoughts or anything here. I mean, Doug, if you want to talk in terms of Illinois or Ohio, I don't know if there needed to be a concerted letter from the flyway on this, because it was so specific to different species and different locations and stuff. I don't know. I don't think we need a letter, but
Yeah, I agree, Taylor. We responded to the request in Ohio too. They were kind of weird, same as the other states, but I think we were able to handle it here.
I would agree. Yeah, we responded kind of in between some of those upland opportunities and fur bears, stuff that on paper shows that it's an expansion of hunting opportunity, but functionally doesn't do anything on the ground. Our only concerning thing was down at Two Rivers National Wildlife Refuge, which is at the confluence of the Illinois and the Mississippis. They were proposing opening Swan Lake, which is probably the major stopover area for waterfowl in that area. So they were proposing to open that up for certain time periods, and so we were coming out in opposition of that. So that was really the only really concerning one that we had. Otherwise, it was stuff that really wasn't worth worrying about.
Yeah, in Alabama we got feral swine and small game with archery only. So very good stuff there. So yeah, we responded the opposite way. I guess we wanted more opportunity on some of our areas. So that's what we got.
Yeah, they asked for feral swine for us too, Seth, and we just outlawed it. So that was a no-go. And then they asked for chucker too. It's just like, what? Anyway, so They did open a lot to deer hunting, which was at our request. So similar to you, we did ask for more whitetail deer hunting, and they were open to that. So
Any other southern states see, Jamie, do you guys see anything? I mean, Kentucky really does not have refuges. So what about any other southern states?
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything going on in Tennessee.
Yeah, same with Arkansas. I never heard anything.
Yeah, nothing from Mississippi either.
Interesting.
But I can
Sometimes
say
I wonder.
Indiana's was weird, specifically listed areas that were already open to hunting, but they added species that they don't hunt, like gallinule. So pretty sure Indiana didn't respond about that.
I think Adam wrote in the comments that he did and really think Flyway needs to respond. And I think Taylor had already expressed that. I don't see at this point, if they're going to the states where it's occurring and you guys are involved, then I think we're more than covered at this point. All right. So Nate, I know that we were excited to receive a final draft, final draft of the 2-tier evaluation. Was it yesterday? And I know Dave said that you had stepped in and kind of taken over and made that meeting and stuff happen. So you want to give us an update on where we stand on 2-tier?
Yeah. Yeah, as you all probably have realized, it's something that I'd really like to see happen in some more states. And so kind of took a look at the fact that the shutdown lasted over 40 days and realized it was not going to be a priority for the service coming back. So I maybe commandeered might be the correct term, the group. And I didn't really ask. I just said, I'll take it from here, I guess. And so set up a bunch of meetings. So going forward, we've kind of defined what things need to be decided by the group and going forward for a phase 2 proposal. And I've put together some straw dogs. It's going to be a lot easier for people to start poking holes in things rather than trying to come up with something new. So I proposed a bunch of ideas, and I've been working with our HD person in-house just to get some ideas on how much something like this could cost. And so for those states that might be interested, I think it's probably important to think about like the surveys alone, just especially to get a reasonable sample size on participation within tier 2. Like you're probably going to be looking at $15,000 to $20,000 a year just in surveys. So just something important for people to think about. Obviously, it could be less if you have a smaller hunter population, but I think for most Mississippi Flyway states, that's a reasonable number. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're working on right now. We have a meeting coming up the 4th of December, which is right before the Harvest Management Working Group meeting. And the primary objective in that meeting is to come up with some better proposals on the harvest thresholds that we would like to see out of that group so that the Harvest Management Working Group can talk about that proposal at the meeting if they find time to do so. So anyway, that's where we're at. If you guys have any thoughts, I'm happy to share the documents that we're working off of right now. If people want to poke holes in it or have concerns or want to see straw dog proposals, but like I said, I have a feeling that just because I said here's an idea doesn't mean that it'll get yeah. And yeah, Adam, I see your comment, and I would just say maybe just put a hold on the agenda for discussing harvest thresholds for 2-tier of what an objective might be. One of the things that we were talking about is concerns about how does anything get extrapolated to the right level and things like that. And so, my proposal is basically just like, let's take a look at each stock. So if it's well, pintails is a terrible example now because you can shoot 3 pintails, but if it's scaup, it's we need to average everybody's harvest across all the phase 2 participants. Things like that, because I know Nebraska had some issues. I think they shot like 55 extra. They went over the 10% threshold on canvasbacks because their average canvasback harvest was like 146. So they got 3 wings, and the estimate goes to exceeds it. So I think we're going to have to deal with some of those things, but I have some ideas. So yeah, and thanks, Adam. But more to come, I guess.
So you're still working towards the idea that states would have a proposal to go in for the fall of 27, for the beginning of the fall of 27.
Yes. So the idea is we will finish all of our proposals by January 23rd, which will give it a month in advance of the flyway meetings, so everybody has time to review it, and then hopefully we will all vote. Or if it's approved, then it will we'll have but that window until the fall flyway meetings to select, or for the states to kind of say I'm in or I'm out. As part of that, we plan to create. It seems like outside of the Atlantic Flyway, there's probably not enough interest to be concerned about saying no to states. Atlantic Flyway might have to say no to some states. Sounds like maybe the whole flyway is interested. So, but Pacific, I think, might struggle to get more than 2. In Central, maybe there might be 2 more. And I guess here, I know, John, you mentioned that you guys might be interested, and Doug, I mentioned you guys might be interested, but yeah, might be.
Our difficulty ultimately would be our regulatory process. I mean, it would have to go through commission, and I don't know how. I mean, it'd be for somebody way over my head to have that discussion, but it's unlikely for us to be able to, based on the regulatory process.
Sure.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not hugely keen on signing up for doing all the parts collection and all the. So your anticipation was that this round 2 would require the same effort all the same effort that first round did, with doing your own wings, parts collection, your own harvest surveys, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, but with the caveat that I think we have a wing solution that's going to save everybody a lot of time. In the Atlantic Flyway, we had done a big contaminants project and developed an app. And since we don't care what the age of these birds is that are being harvested by Tier 2 hunters, we already have an app developed that these people can use to submit their wings. And it's just as fast as you can click onto a photo. Yep, mallard. Yep, scaup. Like it'll save a ton of time versus having mailings and all that, the expenses of sending wings in. So we can at least save that time and money there.
Sounds good. Any other questions on Houston? Anything you wanted to throw in? Sorry, I kind of
just a couple things. First of all, thanks to Nate for prodding the group along. Wasted no time after the shutdown ended to jump on it and get it on everybody's calendars. And we had good participation, so I think that was a smart move to go ahead and get it going back before people got bogged down. I guess some of the complexity of the decisions that'll be made moving forward are, which states are involved in the next round, because it will matter. We need, some high harvest states probably, and maybe states with, sensitive species, because the goal of phase 2 basically is to see what does it look like on a larger scale, and could it be scaled up, to be offered, to entire flyways, that sort of thing. So I guess I would just reiterate, state reps need to be taking a look at the final report and really considering if they think their state has any interest in being involved, because it may turn out that we need a lot more states than we're currently thinking about.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Nate, if you guys can just develop that wing thing farther, I guess we heard quite a bit at the task force meeting from Eric Kirschner that the mailing wings is becoming more and more and more of a challenge. And yeah, so y'all get that app developed and that'll make everybody's life a lot easier. All right, so that covers 2-tier. So one other thing I want to circle back to in the chat, Adam has a post there early on that asks everybody for information. He's working on our perspectives for the Harvest Management Working Group. And that document goes in the official report. And so he usually kind of does a laundry list of all our concerns. And so he's looking to all of you, especially the tech reps, what issues do we have? What things are we concerned about? And you know, what's coming up on and that maybe he hasn't thought of at this point. So if you have ideas, shoot those to him, and so we can make that document as best as it can be. And so with that, one other kind of thing I just wanted to talk a little bit about is the winter meeting coming up. I guess we had a small meeting the other day with David Haney and I guess I would say Jamie, but Jamie was still recovering from surgery. And so David and I talked, and several of us talked, Taylor, and anyway, so the meeting is basically set. Jamie, you want to give us some details? I think Monday of this week, I sent David late last week sent everybody a meeting announcement. Monday, I sent everybody again the meeting announcement with an agenda. Nate pretty quickly discovered that I, of course, messed up and the dates and the agenda are wrong. So I will send everybody a new set of dates. As basically what you get for stealing from previous years. There was a thing, and also Nick and I can't remember, somebody else caught me on that the committee membership on that original thing is old, and so Oren has the latest version, and he is off this week. So when he gets back, I'll go and update the committee memberships, and we'll go from there. So Jamie, you going to talk a little bit about the meeting?
Nope. Yeah, no, JB, it just sounds like you need to plagiarize a little bit better. You need to get better in your plagiarism. Yeah, no, yeah, you guys all saw the announcement. We got the location set. It's going to be in downtown Nashville. Several of you had a cow over the $45 parking. So that's something that David and I didn't even bat an eye at, because like that's pretty much the going rate for parking in downtown Nashville. With that being said, we are investigating. There are some nearby state parking lots that I had somebody over the past couple of days inquiring whether or not we can get some passes for those state lots to be able to park some of the vehicles. So, which would avoid the $45 a day parking permit or parking fee. So stay tuned on that. Like, I think that was like the big thing that, you know, a couple of people contacted us about. So, but I mean, other than that, yeah, the hotel is on 10th and Broadway, and like all of the nighttime action occurs from like 5th down to 1st. So like you're about 4 or 5 blocks away from everything. Is Frank still on?
You betcha.
Oh yeah, Frank. So the Predators are in town that week. On that Thursday night, they got a home game against the Blackhawks. So I might send out a little bit. I'm trying to get our marketing folks to see if they can work a decent deal on some ticket prices for us, but I will let folks know if they're interested in going to a Predators game. Still working on trying to get some reduced tickets for that. But other than that, yeah, I mean, we've just got the place. We're ready to go. Happy to answer any questions if anybody's got anything.
One question for the group. Yeah. I guess we have the Luukkonen award kind of the presentation right now that it was either Tuesday or Wednesday night. We traditionally play wiffle ball on Wednesday night. Would anybody be horribly upset if we flip-flop those nights, however, whatever works best for our speaker? All right, and we'll maybe talk to Jamie some to see if we tonight the speaker if we can work out a deal to get some pizza or something like that for that meeting.
Yeah, David and I already have that on the radar, and we're working on that.
Okay.
So, yep.
And I just I think just on the parking, if nothing else, I think there was a lot of concern was maybe not as much the price as the word valet. If that's that a lot of our joys of state government is that the word valet sends somebody in paper pushing world into spasms. So if the hotel had a way of billing it without saying valet, that might be the best thing.
Yeah, we can talk to them. And it is a Word document. So I would say anybody that needs to send that document in with their travel, just delete the word valet and just mark that it's $45 of parking. So, but we can check if how they put that on there. Hopefully it just says parking, but yeah, you guys know the way it is. It's like they have their own parking lot and, or they have a parking area where they probably pay somebody else to use their parking area. Because I don't think the hotel itself has a parking garage. They pay some other parking garage for space. And so their guys have to go and drive the cars over there. But yeah, we're working on alternatives. And, hopefully we'll have multiple alternatives. So.
Sounds good. And I think, if I remember right, I don't know how many folks, Taylor, maybe who were here the last time we met in Nashville. I think it's right the base of the hotel next door to where we stayed last time. It's a pretty central spot, pretty neat area to be able to short distance to walk to the Predators or to any other things right there. Houston was there, I'm sure.
Hey JB, what are the dates? You said one of the documents is wrong.
It's on the bottom. If you look down at the bottom, I'll send everybody an updated, but it's the specifics of the presentations days down at the bottom of that page are 18, 19, and 20 or something like that left over from last year's version. I changed on the top where it was whatever each day in the table is right, but it's the down below part that Nate called that I had missed that it changed.
Yeah, Mike, I think the dates on the announcement are correct.
Thanks.
Yep. So Frank asked a question. What was that place called? What the hotel or what, Frank, are you after?
That steak. Sorry, I'm back on the steak. What Jamie, what was that steakhouse we went to? Do you know it was kind of like a famous famous place?
I wasn't there for that meeting. I think I know what you're talking about, and it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't
that's all right.
I feel like it starts with an R.
All right, I don't need to waste our committee's time with this.
Yeah, that's okay. Frank,
I do think about it frequently.
I will have it identified for you before you get here.
All right. Any other things? I guess we're working on now, trying to get together presentations and things like that for the thing. I think our hope was to, at the beginning of the meeting, have some important topics there in front of us and have those presentations at the beginning seems like we've recently got to hitting us with the most important things on the last day, right as we're walking out the door. And so we're going to try to see if we can get some presentations done from earlier in the week, so we have all week to kind of chew on it. So with that, what are we leaving out? What covers most of flyweight, the task force?
JB, you want to talk treasurer's report?
Oh gosh, darn it! It wasn't on the agenda, and I've already forgotten. Doug has finished the treasurer's report for us, and yeah, give us an update.
Sure. Everybody should have gotten it this morning. If you didn't, let me know. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Basically the moral of the story is we're sitting pretty right now with the account. After the winter meeting, we were sitting at about just over $16,000. Had a couple things come out prior to the summer meeting. Oren put $1,000 deposit down for the summer 26 meeting. Non-game purchased an owl for their virtual meetings of about $1,700. So going into the Indiana meeting, we had just under $14,000 in the account. So all things getting settled. We had wiffle ball jerseys in there as well, on top of the meeting expenses and the money we took in there. So Adam netted about $7,400 from the Indiana meeting. So we're sitting at just over $21,000 in the account right now. So things are looking good. Does anybody have questions about the treasurer's report or where we sit or anything like that? We had 78 registrations in Indiana, so I think way more than most of us thought we would get.
That's good. I think Tennessee will be one where we maybe need some extra money to kind of fill in. So
sure.
It's just Nashville's just an expensive place to try to host a meeting. So I know that Oren is working behind the scenes, starting to think about, as chair of the executive committee, thinking about a winter meeting in 27, I guess, is starting to. Some of y'all may get phone calls before too far away. So we could hear that.
Hey, John, on that note, and I'm not volunteering, but the hotel at Orange Beach called today and said they miss us and want us to come back in 27. So,
well, there we go. So I will pass that along to Oren that you're excited about again 27. No, I'm kidding, but I will say that. I mean, it's hard to beat. It's a pretty easy place to deal with for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I guess I need to talk to you, Doug. I have a couple of award plaques that we need to pay for, and we're not too far away from having a couple of decoys finished by Chris Nicolai for awards coming up. So I'll get you that information in the not too distant future.
Sounds good.
I see Frank had his hand up. Frank, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I was just taking a look at the agenda, and for presentations, we should create a placeholder for an update on the BPOP survey overhaul. So that's kind of slowly taking form here, and the oversight committee is having a meeting in December to go through progress by each technical team lead. So this is like the whole overhaul of survey extent, modeling approaches, sex ratio adjustments, all that sort of stuff. And so in the past, that oversight committee, which is Fish and Wildlife Service, Canadian and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, had expressed a desire to keep partners apprised of developments as they proceed, and the flyway meetings would be an important place to do that. So I think Mark Conniff is sort of the de facto lead of that oversight team, so he would probably be a good person, or else Scott Boomer or one of us from CWS. But wanted to flag that for you, John.
That was one of my things that I was on the kind of on the radar that we definitely needed an update to see how it was going. And I know Adam was working, had basically been working kind of behind the scenes also on some things. So we'll, but yes, thank you, Frank. That's a great leading thing that we should consider. Jamie.
Yeah, if this is appropriate, I could probably give a quick update on the council's treasury situation. I think a couple of you at the beginning of the meeting, before most everybody logged on, I had said to Adam, you're the guinea pig for our new payment system. So it's been, yeah, okay. So we transitioned from the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Foundation to a private accounting firm called Per Year and Noonan. That happened on October 1st. And so no, I think my messaging to you guys was we think there's not going to, like, we hope this is a seamless transition. It has not been a seamless transition. So I have been spending, and since coming back from my surgery, I have been spending an inordinate amount of time working on getting things fixed. And it has things to do that like the accountants can't do. It's fixing like all of our bank accounts were all of the like mailing and billing addresses were to the foundation. So I got to change all that. But when you change that, then that affects how your credit cards, the debit cards work and all of your online billing and stuff like that. So like now all of a sudden we can't pay anything because our addresses don't match. And so it's just been like a comedy of errors of trying to get things working. And I've been working with the accountants, and I've got to call the bank tomorrow. But I think we're at a point where we might have it to a point where we're going to be able to start paying people again. And that's where Adam is the guinea pig. And I have like 10 or 12 different outstanding bills that need to be paid. Like Reed, still got some of your South Dakota banders that need to be paid. I think the other big one was Taylor was for the University of Minnesota for the Swan Plan. Like that's sitting in the queue. Like it's ready to go. As soon as we know that Adam got paid, then we're going to hit that one and that's going to be paid. Like it's like there are things that are ready to go and ready to be paid. We have a new payment system. We're not going through bill.com anymore. Because that was a bit awkward because people would have to go to Bill, sign up, make their own account at Bill, and it was just cumbersome. This way, the new payment system, we're running it actually through QuickBooks. We're actually directly signing people up as vendors. So like Adam, for instance, we sent Adam a vendor sign up sheet, and he went in, filled out the sheet, provided banking information through a secure server that we have. He was set up in our system as a vendor. He didn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to go set up an account. He doesn't have to, do anything other than that. And now he's always registered as a vendor. Unless his banking information changes, nothing else changes. So anyway, all that to say, we're still not quite where we want to be with being able to pay the bills. I think we're like, I'll be conservative and say we're 85% there, but we're almost there. And hopefully once we get this smoothed out, it'll be minimal involvement by me. It'll start running smoothly and I won't have to do nearly as much work at it, but the transition just didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. And I'll just stop there. Questions if anybody has any.
Houston, Adam's in his jammy, so he can't turn his camera on. All right, awesome, Jamie. Thank you for all that. And again, there's nothing that it's just been painful to think about how much time you had to spend on this, and for something that I'm really bad at, the thought of doing all this billing type stuff would be a nightmare. So I'm glad it's moving in the right direction if we aren't quite there yet, and it's moving in the right direction so that in time for Frank and everybody next summer, for Rod and Frank and all the folks up north, they would, we'll be able to, give them an easier system this summer.
Yeah. So I think the reimbursement system is going to be good as far as that goes. And once we get this thing smoothed out for Frank, Rod, and maybe Reed, I think credit cards or a debit card is a real possibility now with this new accounting group. Like they have multiple customers that do it, and they have a lot of good ideas about how to make it work for us. So I am I have a very positive feeling that we can move into a direction that makes it even easier for our partners to be able to buy what they need to buy and not have to float a lot of their own money to do it. So that's ideally where we want to get to. So I'm hoping that we can have that in place by this summer.
Sounds fantastic. All right, we had I can think of one other thing that we I guess maybe need to address. I was trying to find here. I guess there's a special event coming up on November 20th, Thursday, that Brett, you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Brett,
I guess if you guys haven't seen it yet, after the list serve I'd sent out, I'm finally gonna do my thesis defense. So it's been a long time coming, but yep, tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Good deal for you. Any of us that want to come heckle are allowed?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Was I
Congratulations.
congratulations, Brett. Was I the only one who forgot he hadn't finished that yet? Because I saw that, I was like, no, surely I've already seen this. Surely he's done this already, right? But I guess not. I mean, I'm pretty sure I watched Reed's, right? Reed, you don't have to defend, do you? You're done. Or am I wrong on that one too?
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. Maybe I'm just thinking about Reed. And
Brett, I feel your pain. I started working before I finished my thesis, and it's a real challenge to get back and get it done for sure.
Yeah,
So,
between me starting a full-time job and Lisa taking a different job, it definitely did not help anything.
I think you added your family in there too, didn't you?
I was gonna say, man, throw the baby in there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome news, and we'll try to be, many of us that we can be there to heckle on Thursday.
All right, good deal. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, I think that covers most of everything that we had to. Adam, anything that I've left out? Giving him nope. Okay, he says good. So, all right. Well, thank you all, and sorry, a little bit shortened meeting this time, but we will go to, I guess our next meeting is in December. We might have some discussion whether or not that meeting will occur or not, because that's going to be right up against Christmas. I will let Taylor handle that and see where we go from there. I don't know that we have anything set on the December agenda. It will be right after the Harvest Management Working Group, so there might be some value in that discussion, but we'll wait and see on next month's meeting.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
And so, Rod, anything for, or anybody else from up north, our friends up north?
It's going to get cold. I think, was it Thanksgiving? So everyone south of us be prepared. I think, was it that Wednesday or Thursday? I doubt we'll get back above freezing for some while. So.
Oh, Rod, you guys up there start thinking it's about time for a winter meeting in Canada somewhere. So, Julian, Rod, start making plans.
Niagara Falls in 2028.
There you go. All right. Thank you all so very much, and we will see you very soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, good to see y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.